I think we need to come forward.
God!
I'm sorry, it's been a while. I forgot what to do. Guess who's back? Me. I'm Mary Meadows. We went on to Insta stories and we asked for your questions about anxiety and depression because we both have it. We are not doctors.
No,
listen to us, but don't listen to us. And the reason we're wearing these headdresses is because this is what depression looks like. Not for everyone.
Stuff like this makes you feel good, and if it makes you feel good, do more of it.
Right, let's get on to the questions. Okay. I have serious anxiety that stems from lots of miscarriages, but I've never admitted that I have it. How should I go about speaking to my partner about it? I don't want to sound crazy.
Well, first things first, you ain't crazy. Anxiety is normal, and the best thing you can do is start talking about it. I had a client once that used to send her partner YouTube videos or stuff like that, so just if you find it hard, send them this video and say, this is what I'm struggling with.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. Cut him some slack because he might be...
Or he might already kind of know.
And he might be like, yes!
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
You know, any feeling that you are having, whether it's been diagnosed by a doctor or not, is valid because you are feeling it. So it's a valid emotion, it's a valid feeling.
Sometimes saying stuff out loud means it's real. You need to get it out of your body so you can get help. Also, you can speak to your doctor about maybe medication if you want to go down that route, and that's fine. But you could also speak to your GP about the resources that are available to you, because I think some people don't realise what's available to them.
And then the other thing is, particular depending on the area that you live in. So for example, in Brighton we have an amazing wellbeing service that you can actually self-refer to, that doesn't involve you speaking to anybody. You can just go on there and they've got resources. They even do like a CBT course actually online, because different stuff suits different people. And with the technology that we have now, you don't even have to go out.
Once you start the conversation, even if it is with your cockatoo or your dog, it gets much easier the more and more you say it.
And I think, you know, because the messages that I get, certainly on Instagram when I do one of my stories, is that, oh my god, I feel exactly the same way. It is, again, that Me Too thing. It really helps you feel that you are not alone, because it can feel very isolating. Certainly my initial, when I had postnatal depression, you know, I didn't feel anything, so there was almost nothing to talk about. You know, I just had the postnatal depression. I couldn't express myself with any feelings because there was just nothing there.
Yeah, and you didn't feel depressed how you thought people depressed should feel.
Yeah, so I used to say to the doctor all the time, but I don't feel depressed, you know, and I don't feel anything. So I find it quite amusing that it is called depression, because personally I have never felt actually depressed until I came off the antidepressants recently, and I have had waves of this depressed feeling, this very low, this almost like I've swallowed a brick and it's literally
weighing you down,
sinking in my stomach.
Would you rather feel something?
Yes. A lady asked me, how many years have I had anxiety and depression, and which one do you suffer more with, anxiety or depression? Years wise, I used to have panic attacks when I was younger, so I think the anxiety has been there pretty much always. The depression, it was first diagnosed as postnatal depression very quickly, but I do think I've had depression throughout my pregnancy, and Albie's nearly 6 now, so it's about 6 years. But I don't know when it stopped being postnatal depression and just went into depression.
Yeah, I don't know.
How long do you have postnatal depression?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I've always had depression since I can remember. I remember being pregnant and being so scared I was going to have postnatal depression. I don't know why I clearly thought there was such an obvious difference between one and the other, but that's that label thing again.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
But I remember when he was 2 and I was thinking, wow, I've got through this without getting postnatal depression. And then I started feeling a bit blue and I was like, but it's not postnatal depression. Like, isn't that really interesting? You're right. Like, when does it?
You know, and that brings us on to the super not helpful questionnaires that I got really good at answering.
It's interesting because anyone that's scared about going to the doctor, it's really not scary. We've been a million times. They literally have 7 textbook questions that they ask you, and it's like on a scale of 1 to 5 or something, and wherever you say, they literally, it's like a Cosmo quiz of depression, isn't it?
It is.
And they add up your scores and you're like, mostly A's. Oh, you're okay. Mostly B's. You're severely depressed. It is literally that simple.
And then I moved. I got really excited after my first kind of round of counselling that I had, because I got my letter in the post that when I have gone from severely depressed to moderately depressed. I mean, the doctors have got to have some kind of something to measure your
sadness by?
Depression, your anxiety. However, it just doesn't serve us well anymore, and it's not a true picture of exactly what's going on. What the answer is, I don't know.
Because I had to do the checklist recently, like in the last couple of weeks, and I remember she was adding up my Cosmo quiz of depression, and then she looked at me and she just said, "You are severely depressed." But I was just like, it was like so dramatic, and I was just like almost laughing. I know what that means. It just means I got mostly D's. It's fine in the quiz. Severely, if you're severely dead, that sounds pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. So like severely depressed, that sounds pretty bad.
I think it's because we don't measure it in that way, do we? We don't wake up and think, okay, today's scale, how depressed do I feel? So yes, the doctors have to have a tool, but that is what happens at the doctors if you go and say, I think, you know, something is amiss with my mental health.
Next question is, how do you guys stay motivated when you're having a period of depression?
I think certainly being a parent is helpful, because you do have to get on.
I was the queen of a self-pity party, but you're right, like the toddler, you don't have that luxury.
No.
If you haven't got that,
but if you haven't got that, I think I would agree, like a non-negotiable minimum.
Really, with yourself?
Yeah,
so you'd come up with like
I'd come up with like boundaries, or you know, something that, you know, no matter how bad I feel, I would definitely do these things. Certainly what I put in here has such a incredible difference. It is easy to reach for the convenience with a packet of hobnobs and stuff like that. They don't help.
But you know what does help? Self-care. Look after yourself. Okay, so over the last month, the first 2 weeks I would say were terrifying. Just like crying all the time. But gradually, bit by bit, I would start doing things for myself, like cooking a homemade meal from scratch, or making protein balls, or having a bath. Like, it sounds maybe ridiculous, but it was teeny tiny baby steps.
Yeah. And just having those basics in place, and being kind to ourselves, showing ourselves compassion. If you are right now listening to this in one of those dark bouts of depression,
what would you say to your mate?
Yeah, I think that's a really helpful question, is like, what you would say to someone else.
Why don't we do that for ourselves?
But you go, oh,
yeah, true. You know, you self-sabotage, or you feel guilty because you feel self-indulgent.
It's like somebody, when you're stressed, someone's saying, sorry I keep interrupting you, when you're stressed, this isn't just all about you, is it?
Is this the Badass and Bailie channel? No, it's NatashaBailie.com.
It's like when someone says, oh, like when you're really stressed, and when you're stressed,
or they say cheer up,
breathe, or cheer up, love. They say breathe. You want to punch them
in the face. Yeah.
So that's not always helpful, but showing yourself compassion with the self-care, and deciding on what your basics are. You know, like having a bath, washing yourself.
It leads though to other things, because I started doing nice things for myself, but like literally one thing a day. And then like now, as of the last couple of weeks, I have started going back to the gym and eating well, as in making good choices, not eating takeout all the time. It might seem small, but they are, again, little steps that have got me here, which is like this week I did my first CBT session. So it's just like little things move you forward, and if you weren't doing it yesterday, it means it's progress.
Yeah, exactly.
So keep doing what makes you feel good.
So this is a question that I've had. So do you mind me asking what medication you were taking and the milligrams? I get asked this question a lot. When I think back to how I was feeling, I think I wanted to know an answer. So like I wanted to go to the doctor and say, put me on this because I know someone and that really worked for them. And
well, if you think women do that with like the pill, like,
yeah, because we talk about it, don't we? Say, oh, that gave me spots, or not taking that,
or that made me gain weight, or that made
yeah. I'm a little bit reticent, but in the hope that this video is received in the way that we intend it to. This is not medical advice. We are in no way qualified to give any advice on depression or anxiety. We are just having a conversation about it, and that is important. In that vein, I have been on many different antidepressants. Most recent one, I was on 300 or 350 milligrams of, I can never say it, venlafaxine, I think. So I was on lots of different ones because I never thought that they were working, or I could never take enough of them. I had to get that first almost hit of it, whatever it is, and I'd be like, oh my god, that was great, and then it would like wear off, and I'd be like, well, no, that's not working.
I'm on sertraline, I never know. I'm on 150 milligrams, and I think I've been on mine for about 10 or 11 months. I remember though, when I first started taking it, I felt high.
Yeah.
Really high. Yeah. And then now I just feel quite numb. When all the recent anxiety hit me, I think I did cry for about a week, and then it was like I dried up, and I can't really cry now, and that's a bit of a worry.
Oh god, I say so much. I'm really sorry, Natasha, when you're editing this.
That's okay, Mary. Stop being a dick. I mean, she only asked us what drugs we were on.
I'm really sorry.
Talk to a professional. How do you limit the impact your depression has on your children?
I would say I recognise how I'm feeling, but then equally I do, because I'm very passionate about raising an emotionally intelligent child. So my aim in my life is to feel all the feelings, and I want to show him all of them. You know, when I'm crying, I don't try and hide it. I try and explain it to him in a kind of appropriate way. Which is quite hard.
Whereas Max is 4 and he doesn't care.
Well, yeah, there is that.
He's like, I'm too busy. Is that a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? He doesn't care. A little while ago, he was talking about his grandparents, and I said, well, you know, that is Daddy's mummy and daddy.
Yeah.
And then he went, yeah. And you could see the little cogs turning, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And he went, who's your mummy? For the longest time, I've been like, what am I ever going to say? But I didn't know. So I didn't say anything, but he just looked at me. I couldn't get the words to say, and he just went, I love you. And I was like, oh my god, I love you. And then I just said, mummy hasn't got a mummy.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, cool, standard.
Also, they understand more than we give them credit for.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think a little explanation, and also, like, certainly we have days, particularly at the weekend, I suppose it is easier because he is older, you know, but we'll say, oh, you know, mummy's not feeling great today, you know, are you tired from the week or something like that? So we do have the odd on the sofa movie days. If
I'm shouty or something, I have to take myself out of the scenario, so I'll just then go cook dinner if I've got that luxury to be in a different room to him, and I'll just be like, look, it's not as bad. And then also Max and I have a bath together every single night, and that is like our powwow. We have a good chat about everything, and I think he likes it because he kind of can process his day, but I like it because I can process my day, and it's just this like very special time that we have to kind of connect. Like Mary, I try and talk to him about everything, but I don't want to overwhelm him, but I want him to understand that there's no shame in being openly like, I feel sad today, and that's okay.
And I also think that everything revolves around them as children. They don't think that, they think it's all about their behaviour, whereas we know as adults it can be the bloke in Sainsbury's that
saying cheer up love,
that actually triggered the rage. So I think trying to make them help them understand that it's not always what they do on their behaviour. I think understanding that and trying to kind of talk about it appropriately.
It is really hard though, because only you know your kids and how much information they can take.
Albie came out with Maya Angelou the other day.
Damn, you've done such a good job. Have you got a book deal?
He said to me, he said, is that because when we know about something, you know, we can do stuff better? So yeah, and I was like, and as uncomfortable as it is, because it's not pretty, it's not nice, but the more we talk about this stuff, the easier it becomes, and we just choose to video it and put it out on the
But we are not normal.
No, maybe we're not normal.
Shit! But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful to at least 2 of you. Yeah. We will leave so many links and information in the box down below if any of you want support or extra help, or if you've got any questions, then leave them down below and we will check back and we'll try and answer them. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your questions and like opening up and sharing. It's been incredible and overwhelming, and I'm very grateful for your kindness. Bye! Well done, Mary. I've never seen her speak so fast like this. Oh, then there was that time.
The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things